is August 30th, 2024. It is 11:03 a.m. We have 59 folks on, and this is Coffee with Community Services, Alta California Regional Center's weekly service provider meeting. My name is John Decker, the Director of Community Services. As usual, we'll do introductions of our staff and then get into our agenda. Good morning so far. I see on Sharon Krupinski. Good morning, Sharon. And I see Dee Dee and Tom on. Good morning as well. And Rhonda and Alicia, good morning from Community Services. And I see Beverly on and Carly, good morning. And I see our managers. I see Michelle and Jordan on, good morning. And I also see our lead Community Services Specialist, Jason, here, good morning. And let's see, behind the subtitles, I see Denise and I see Christy Schaefer, good morning, and Alejandra, who I think we're going to hear from in a little bit about the DSP stipends. And I see our other manager, Scott, is on this morning too. Good morning, Scott. And Michael Mercado is on as well. Good morning. Additionally, from Community Services, I see my assistant, Zach. I see Rihanna and Kylie and Aleja and Hubert. Good morning, everyone. All right, let's get into our agenda here. So we're going to do our sign of the week in Deaf Culture 101 with Michael. We've got some vendor spotlights we're going to do. We're going to give an update on the DSP stipend workshop. We're going to give an update on the Department of Developmental Services Service Provider Directory. We're going to give another update on HCBS. We're going to go over some of the things that are on the Department of Developmental Services events calendar. And then we're going to go over some of the things that are on our events calendar as well. And if there's any other additional agenda items, we will give a general update as well on the rate study implementation too. So if there's any other items, please drop them in the chat if you would like us to discuss them. And with that, I am going to spotlight Michael and throw it over to him.
Alrighty, hi there everybody, good morning. So now I want to thank you all. I have had some emails as it relates to the YouTube signs, and people are asking me, should I be using my left hand or my right hand? And so I'm trying to clarify here which hand you can use. You always start with, I'm sorry, there will be modeling the formation. Oh, sorry, 1 second for the interpreter. I'm sorry. So the interpreters, we're gonna go with the signs of the week. Now we have morning, we have afternoon and evening. Are we ready for the signs of the week? So first you start with your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, I will use my right hand. So during the day, the sun will move. So this is represented with our dominant hand is going to be the one moving. Our non-dominant hand is going to be placing it in the crevice of your elbow. And the moving hand, your dominant hand, is going to rise like it would be the sun rising. In the afternoon, you also have your dominant hand being the one that's moving, your non-dominant hand being the one that's the foundation. So it's going to be under your elbow like this, and then it's going to be representing the sun, which is about up in the middle of the sky over your head. So that's afternoon. In the evening, it gets dark and the sun goes down. So your dominant hand will be the one going down over your non-dominant hand. So your hand moves up to your hand rather than under your elbow. So let's do this again. We have morning like this, afternoon, evening, or night. All right, good job, everybody. So now when you see me, you can say good morning, good afternoon, or have a good night. So go ahead and take that opportunity. Now we'll be moving on to Deaf Culture 101. So we're gonna be comparing the 1990s to the 2020s. This is the fun topic for us today. So deaf people, I grew up in the 90s through the 2020s, and there are some differences, pretty significant differences. I have 5 that I'll be mentioning today. So we're the first one focusing on technology and communication. In the 1990s, we used TTY, which is a computer machine which has the phone on it and a keyboard, and an operator would speak to a hearing person, but that typically would have issues, including people thinking that a deaf person calling them was a scam. So a lot of times they would get hung up on, and the deaf person would be typing to the operator. And in 2020s, now we have new technology that has significantly advanced. We have phones and laptops where we can actually video chat with each other. We have apps where we can send messages. We have things like Zoom and pretty fast communication online, especially compared to the old-fashioned TTY, where it was just one way of communication via typing through the operator. And now there are so many different options for this online communication. Now, secondly, we're going to be talking about the educational access in 1990s compared to the 2020s. In the 1990s, deaf students would go to school and have very limited access to interpreters. And there really wasn't a lot of certified interpreters out there, so that made it harder. Captioning in TVs and whatnot, or even in the classroom, having to watch the captions as it related to any of the educational content or on movies, most of the time was not available in the 1990s. Therefore, deaf people were stuck without access to what was happening in a movie or in any educational event. The 2020s, we have certified interpreters who are more skilled, qualified, and trained to provide interpreting services. We also have readily available captions on things such as Zoom or even in theaters. Several resources also for educational access. Anytime you go to a counseling, therapy, there are people who know sign or interpreters available, or if you watch the news, there's captions there. In the 1990s, there was very limited access. Deaf people depended on hearing people to fill them in on what they'd missed or what was being said. Thirdly, we're going to be talking about the cultural changes. In the 1990s, it was new technology to have the cochlear implant surgically done, and in the deaf community, there was an outrage. There were people against it. They felt that it was harmful, and they felt that it would risk our identity, our culture. It would force us to focus on listening and interfere with our language. It was really a hot topic. And then in 2020, the deaf community is more accepting of cochlear implants and more supportive. The technology has improved, the surgical procedure has improved, but there are still concerns about deaf identity, culture, and in terms of also the availability. Now, employment law is the next topic. In the 1990s, it was job opportunities for deaf people was highly limited. At that time, ADA was in development. That wasn't passed until 1988. So it was really slow going. Deaf people faced many barriers, discrimination, and a huge struggle in order to get employment. But now in the 2020s, the ADA has passed, jobs are more available, and many deaf people are now working, and also people in their environment are taking ASL or learning ASL in order to be more inclusive of deaf people. So that has been incredible to see. Now, finally, there are tools out there for communication. In the 1990s, deaf people had to bring an English dictionary with them all the time and write on notebooks, pages and pages and pages of communication. And it would be throwing tons of paper in the trash at the end of the day. And a lot of times there was a lot of confusion as to what does this word mean? So they'd have to carry around this giant dictionary and search for all these different words. But then if they didn't understand the word in the definition, they would have to find the definition of the word within the definition that they didn't know. And so, the dictionary was like a deaf person's best friend, but to have to carry that book around your whole life, ooh, that was a big deal. So now in 2020, or the 2020s, we don't have to worry about that. We have dictionaries on our phones. We have ASL dictionaries even. There are apps that are readily available that have a sign paired with a word that can be seen. So that is a huge improvement. And yeah, let's see here. I saw a message in the chat. That was a question. Is there a sign language keyboard? No, there is not yet a sign language keyboard, but that is a great question. Thank you for asking, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Michael. Excellent. All right. I am going to actually throw it over now to the DSP stipend update and the DSP stipend workshop that we had.
Okay, do you want me to go ahead, Michelle? Yeah, okay. So it was actually pretty successful. Yesterday we had about 18 DSPs that came. So that is about 22,500 in stipend payment. So that was awesome. And then also shout out to all the ladies who were helping us yesterday, as well as I actually have a photo of how busy we were. Let me go ahead if I'm able to. So we had a couple of people helping us out. It was like everybody was coming in the same time, but luckily we had a good hand, helpful people. Yeah, so it was pretty good. And then just reminders to tell the DSPs that tomorrow is the last day. So please go ahead and do it. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I think this is the first time that I've had the numbers shared with me as far as what we were able to get paid out to DSPs for holding the workshop. So that is so cool. Over $22,000 worth of payments were able to go out to DSPs because of the participation that you all had in inviting your staff to our office for the DSP stipend workshop. So coming to the end of the initiative here, we are certainly very proud of how far that we've come and getting as many DSPs trained as possible. So I appreciate the work here and having the workshops in our office. All right, let's see. We have three. Let's see. Maybe we can start with Stone Ridge SLS. Eric Cervantes, are you available to talk a little bit about Stone Ridge?
Yes, I am available.
Perfect.
I can go ahead.
Excellent.
Yeah. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I'll just go ahead and start. Yeah. So again, good morning. Happy Friday. My name is Eric Cervantes. From there, I just recently got vendored with Alta. Pretty exciting news for SLS. A little bit about myself. I've been in the field for over 10 years. I helped create an agency out in the Bay Area back in 2014. From the PD to the admin work to the documentation, everything in between, doing intakes, everything was really an eye-opener for me. I enjoyed it very much. I just kind of got hooked with it. And after a few years, we started to expand. And I've obviously have been in Sacramento for that time frame. I was doing a lot of travel back and forth, but within the 5 years after expanding, I did have, we did have a little bit of falling out, but nevertheless, that agency is doing really, really great. I then started working with another agency out in Stockton, California, as well as Sacramento, California. There, I learned a lot more in-depth type of training, a lot more resources, a lot more documentation, really broadened my scope on what I need to do when it comes to running my own agency. That being said, last 3 years, I really took it seriously and I started doing my own PD, creating that, working with Jason and Tom. Thank you again, guys, for that. What I'm really focused on is going to be housing on that, on getting, individuals with housing, making sure that we can get affordable housing and really getting them the available resources within their community to really just get the maximum that's possible for them. Alongside from housing, what I really see that a lot of agencies thrive on is getting great quality DSPs, individuals who really care for the ones that they're taking care of, someone that really has a passion for this field. That's a huge level of focus for me. That's where I'm going to really strongly build my strong team and pretty much have a great quality of care and ultimately a quality of life for the individuals we'll be taking care of. After that, making sure training is going to be spot on, medication, everything from recording medication to SIRs, everything being completely transparent from management all the way down to DSPs. That's a huge, huge key factor for strong growth, a fundamental team that I'm looking to have. And then ultimately getting them in the community, using the resources within the community that they live in, and getting them out there, having DSPs to really make an impact from where they're at living and the help that they can get within their community. I'm super excited about this start. I'm really, I love the ins and outs of it. I love working with admin team. I love working with regional centers, going back and forth. It's been a really strong passion of mine ever since I started. And I'm super excited to get this going. I know from experience, a lot of individuals want to just take on as many as they can. I see that is kind of a little bit stressful and it's hard to be in all places at one time. So really, if you just take a step back and go slow with it, really make sure that you're transparent in what the mission is for each company, and just getting the key players in place so that you can build a strong foundation as you grow. That's something that is huge for me. So other than that, I believe maybe I'm right around the 5-minute marker, but I do want to say again, thank you to Tom and thank you to Jason for the help. And I am excited to go with my journey here with Alta. I just can't wait to meet more of you guys and just get really involved in the community. So thank you again.
Excellent. Welcome. You saw the welcome from Shamir as well in the chat. And
Yeah.
we get together here every Friday from 11 to 12 and talk about what's going on. So always
Perfect.
welcome. It's a great way to stay updated. And I appreciate the comments about slow growth. I saw Tom, his face relaxed a little bit as you were saying that, because
Yeah.
we see vendors certainly get overwhelmed. It's like a new toy sometimes. We get a new service provider and we just feel like we want to have all the most challenging problems in the world get solved by you on your first day of operation. But appreciate the idea of getting to meet everyone here. And then you're going to put your information hopefully in the chat if folks want to reach out to you. We've got a bunch of case management folks on here. They may want to refer to you. And so you're welcome to do that. Hey, Beverly, I love putting you on the spot. Do you mind sharing with folks about what we had going on in our office here recently?
Yeah, so we held our behavior services vendor fair. We had a good amount of service providers that showed up. Case management really appreciated all the information, and we're looking forward to a vendor fair in the future. So
Awesome. Thank you very much. I not only is it great to be able to have you guys, do that, but it also is a great opportunity for our staff to come down and not only meet our vendors, but also meet some of our community services staff. Like I got to meet some of the service coordinators that I've never met before while I was down there too. So thank you very much for all of the behavioral service providers that came and set up your tables at our office this week, and appreciate again the CSS staff that put it together. Let's see. I saw Chanel on there somewhere. Hey, Chanel, can I make you next up on our spotlights?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Chanel Brisbane. I'm the Director of Jobs and Transitions for Best Buddies in California. And I'm so excited to talk to you all about our new program that we'll be launching in just 2 short weeks. Some of you may have heard of us. We are a nonprofit that's committed to the inclusion of individuals with developmental disabilities. And through that, we've worked historically with you all in our jobs program and are now bringing a project search site. I did create a few slides, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm a visual learner, so I wanted to do the same for you all. Just give me one moment. Alrighty. Let's see. I froze.
I know, we're not quite getting it yet, or I'm not quite getting it yet.
Let's see. There we go. It says it's coming through in just a second. Bear with me. If not, we'll just scratch.
Project search model. There it is.
Okay. Wonderful. So if you are not familiar, Project Search is a 9-month vocational training program committed to teaching adults with developmental disabilities who are not quite ready for competitive integrated employment, employability skills, and giving them transferable skills through this program. Project Search is going to be like I said, 9 months, September through June. So we follow the school year. And in that, we've had the opportunity to partner with UC Davis Medical Center to make this come to life. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information on the overall structure of this program and how it works. Over the course of those 9 months, our 9 interns that we select will go through 3 11-week rotations. In that, they will be partnered with a department. Well, they'll be giving a supervisor, and they will work alongside the hospital teams to learn different employability skills. And the goal is total immersion. So we want them to learn that integrated experience. They're going to get mock interview practice. They're going to get actual transferable skills that they could add on to their resume, and they're going to learn what it's like to actually work in a hospital setting. Alrighty, so this program is made possible through our 5 key partners. So we have Alta California, which is going to be supporting and funding this program. I have information on vendor numbers and service codes if anyone has anyone that's interested afterwards. We obviously have UC Davis Health, which is going to be providing the area in which we will be working at, the Department of Rehabilitation, who will help with any sort of fees needed. Like, for example, we partner with Sacramento State. This is an unpaid 9-month internship. So individuals will get 4 credits through the continuing education department at Sacramento State University. And so DOR will fund that, any initial transportation costs, clothing, things along those lines. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the DOR. And then we have Project Search, who's providing our program model fidelity and helping guide us in best practices for this program. So a typical day, all the individuals will meet at 8:30 in the morning. This program runs Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 2:30. They will come in for classroom instruction for an hour. We have 3 full-time staff members that will operate at the hospital. We have for a 3-to-1 ratio. So we have our instructor who will lead the classroom instruction. This will be focused on, again, employability skills. So we'll be doing everything from like how to build healthy relationships within the workplace to career exploration to workplace readiness, how to take those skill sets that they're learning every day and transfer it into a job that meets their interests out in the community once they graduate. After that, they'll transfer over to their departments. This is all individualized work, so there will not be group employment in this setting. Everyone will have their own individual department that they're working in. We've already had 10 different departments at UC Davis Medical Center sign up to host an intern. And we only have 9 interns, so we're going to have a variety of choices based on the skill sets they really want to hone in on in their interests. From there, they will work within their departments from 10 to 2:30 with a 30-minute lunch break in between. And we will have our skills trainers walking around the hospital all day long, providing that job coaching support, helping them understand their tasks, work independently, build those connections with their coworkers. Program criteria. If you have anyone that's interested, this program is made for individuals between the ages of 18 to 35. Anyone that is between the ages of 18 and 22 must have a high school diploma. They have to have a desire to work and train in an unpaid internship for 9 months and must have a desire to work after graduating. Our team, once they graduate, will support them in finding competitive integrated employment opportunities out in the community. So this is not intended for anyone that wants to go back to school after taking this program. Obviously, if they identify a career path and they need additional education courses, we will support them with it, but we want the mind to be set on finding a job. They must meet the eligibility requirements for the DOR and Alta California Regional Center. They must be willing to enroll in continuing education through Sacramento State and have their own forms of reliable transportation. So that was like the quickest overview of that program I have given. If you have anyone that's interested, like I said, we are launching in 2 short weeks. So we are in it. We have about 7 applicants right now. So we are currently receiving more applicants for this current cohort and also building our pipeline for next year as well, which will be from August to May next year. So if you have anyone that's interested, you can reach out to me and I will send you over the project search application. Once that's completed, I'll ask you to send that to me and return it with the most recent IPP. And I know it's a quick turnaround, but we are looking for applications by the 3rd, because again, we're launching the 9th. So we are taking all last minute applicants.
Well, you've got 92 folks on right now, and a lot of them are regional center staff, and so hopefully folks were appreciated that. And Carly, I want to know, is there any other guidance or any other feedback we want to? It was staff had to walk me through this vendorization, and Chanel was patient as well, so that we could get this all taken care of. But anything else, we certainly want to support this cohort getting off the ground. Anything else, Carly, related to it?
No, I mean, Chanel gave a very good overview, a very in-depth overview of it. Case management, though, if there are any questions, Shauna Frost is the assigned CSS, and of course, I can provide any support as well. I'll put both of our emails in the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, again, a number of meetings had to be held with staff so that I could get my head around this and understand it and how it worked out. And I'm very pleased that we were able to get it done in the time frames. And thank you, Chanel, for an excellent presentation. Let's see. If I can find Scott on my screen. If he waves his hand, I'll be able to find him. Oh, I have lost him. I got an update, and I think you guys talked about it last week, but we have reached the 100% level, I believe, HCBS specialists on our sites visited. Is that awesome? Oh, there's Scott right there. Hey.
Hey, sorry, I came
That's
off
okay.
camera for a minute.
That's
I
all right.
actually want to pass this over to Alicia to represent, but yes, we are at 100%. Alicia?
Hey, I've got all the numbers and facts and figures,
good.
like any good nerd has. So we had 512 site visits for our HCBS assessments this year, including our residential homes, our day programs, our employment programs, and our other congregate disability specific programs. Everywhere that we visited was vendored before March 2023. So we know that there's about 55 programs that were left out at DDS's direction, but we will be visiting those programs. So don't worry. At the end of our visits, we found that 86.1% of all of those visits were initially compliant, meaning that we didn't have to go back out or do any sort of remediation plan. We showed up and everything looked great. Interviews went well with individuals. We had 71 total remediations completed, and we have 5 currently in a remediation status. Those 5 are they're all residential facilities. There are no day programs, no employment programs, no one who falls in that other category. And those remediations are all due by the 15th of September. So assessments will be continuing. DDS has told us these will be annual, although we don't know if we'll be adding more service codes to our list. We obviously will be looking at all those programs vendored after March 2023 as well. So I know that we are going to be increasing our numbers, and we are waiting on
Alicia, just
DDS
a point
direction.
of clarification. So the March of 2023 means we knew what the federal guidelines were, and we were building that into the vendorizations of anything
Yes.
from that date forward.
So,
right?
so DDS has said that anyone vendored after March 2023 had HCBS built into their program design and built into the culture of their program. So we didn't need to visit them this initial year, but we will be visiting them going forward. So they were not required to be assessed for this year.
That is a tremendous amount of work that has gone into getting these done. And the fact that we are down to 5 last remediation plans, again, I can't say enough of being able to have, 86% initially compliant, upon that first visit. Again, I feel very good of where we have landed as a regional center, and certainly want to send my appreciation to the HCBS specialists and Scott that have been working on this, and then also, all the rest of our community services specialists that have been involved, and all of you service providers. So awesome job. We are still waiting to kind of figure out what the next steps are going to look like. As Alicia kind of mentioned, there is plans for the state to figure out what HCBS reviews of a broader range of settings are, but they have not quite determined what that's going to look like yet, and what the frequency it will be, etc. So as soon as we have more information, you will know about it. The HCBS specialists and Scott regularly participate in the HCBS meetings with DDS, and then I'm also part of the work group for the statewide response. So we'll update you all. Let's see, can we go to ACRE training next? I think I made you, I don't know if you need to share your screen, Kate, but I just made you a co-host, so.
Sure, let me try it. I'll put it in the chat, but I just wanted to quickly jump on here and let everyone know that the Progressive Employment Concepts is having a ACRE training on November 12th, 13th, 14th, 20th, and 21st. So this training will certify you in ACRE customized employment, specifically the discovery process and job development. This would benefit anybody who is working with someone, has a client who's looking for a job or finding employment. There will be activities that you'll do in the community, and you'll have homework, but that really gives you a chance to practice the skills that you're learning in real time, and then have a mentor throughout that. I'll link the registration in the chat too. The spots are filling up pretty quickly, so take a look at that. And we realize that this is part of or near the holiday, so we will be having ACRE trainings coming up again, probably early next year. So if you can't go to this one, then feel free to email me too, and I can put you on our mailing list so that you can find out when that next one is too.
Now, are you able to check how many people have registered like live? Like, can you check right now, and then we can check at the end of the meeting?
Yeah, let me look.
Because I like to do stuff like that. All right. Now, I believe that it was Carly that put the comment in the chat and not Christy Schaefer, but since they both have the same ID, was that you, Carly?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, good. What's your comment there?
This is a great opportunity for anyone who is interested in opening a Coordinated Career Pathways program, or CCP, to get their ACRE certification. If they do not already have an ACRE certification, that is a requirement, that or the CEF certification, but this one is available right now or coming up in November. So just keep that in mind. If you're interested in opening that CCP program, take advantage of this opportunity.
And I just looked, and we have 6 spots left.
Ooh, 6 spots. Get yourselves registered quick, folks. And a quick reminder about the Coordinated Career Pathways. They are intended to do what? Carly?
So Coordinated Career Pathways, that is a program or a service for anyone who is within 2 years of graduating school or is transitioning out of a sub-minimum wage or work activity program, it is to assist these clients in obtaining competitive integrated employment out in the community. So it is a time-limited program. If you have any questions about that, please reach out to me. We currently have one vendored already. We have another just about to be vendored. And then we have several who are going through their program design right now. I think I want to say we have about 5 going through their program design vendorization process right now.
See, get yourselves registered if you're interested, folks. Thank you. All right. And thank you for that spotlight. Let me go over now to the DDS website real quick, since I'm already sharing my screen. And I'll give a little update about rate reform and everything else. So let me share my screen just so folks know where they can find things on DDS's website. All right, so to give you, as I do, kind of a weekly update on the status of rate reform activities, this is also an opportunity for my own staff to get an update on the things that are happening. The department has still not yet released the directives that we are waiting for in order to complete the next steps of the rate study implementation. The department is currently holding high-level meetings with advocacy groups and regional centers and service providers, including some Alta service providers, in relation to the overall directive and how the information is going to be shared with service providers, as well as specifically the transportation directive. There was a meeting with the service providers as well to share some of that information. So with that, we believe that, hopefully the directives will be forthcoming here very soon, but we're still awaiting them to be released. Again, the information for rate reform can be found on DDS's website. And specifically the rate models, rate reform, directives, updates, all of the information is in here, and including the information about the service provider directory. So, Michelle, I know we had an opportunity to complete some activities related to the service provider directory that are related to the implementation of the rate study. Can you give folks just a little update about what we got asked to do and kind of what we did?
Yeah, definitely. So we had the department reach out to us as they were transitioning over all of the information from our SANDIS system. Some of them were missing information. So I think it was about 135 contact information was missing from the system or did not actually transition over. So my team worked to fill all that information out, update the department. That was received on the 23rd of this month. And so we just also got some notifications that my internal staff, including myself, will be doing some webinars and some trainings from the department twice in the month of September to kind of let us know what that looks like, what the reports will look like. And as I get that information, I'll be sure to share it with you and as we operationalize the process.
Excellent. So I want to see if anyone has any questions, any service providers have any questions related to the service provider directory. We had heard, from some of you that you'd been reached out to by the department's, representatives. And so I guess at some point during Coffee with Community Services, I should be asking folks, have they not been contacted yet? Because we want to ensure that everyone, and I guess that'll be we're really trying to ensure that all the activities are done by October 30th, to my understanding, because then that is what we will need in order for you to get the last 10% of the rate study implementation. And so, again, what I would just encourage service providers to do is, please, if you are contacted by the department as it relates to the service provider directory, provide them the information that is needed. If you need any support, you're certainly welcome to reach out to our community services department. But from the reports that we've received from service providers that have gone through it, it's apparently not too onerous. So again, what our commitment to you all is that once we have additional information, and again, we're awaiting for the community services staff that are on here as well, we're awaiting the overall directive that's going to explain how we're going to implement the final stage of the rate study. We're missing the service specific ones, right? So, Eric is a new SLS provider. He would be probably very interested in knowing what the SLS directive is going to say specifically as it relates to the rate study implementation. And so once that comes out, then we'll be able to share that with the service providers. So we're still waiting for the overall directives, and then we're waiting for the the service specific directives. Then also, we are waiting on our final worksheets that we are going to receive, and the worksheets are going to have what the final rates are going to be effective January 1 of 2025. They, to my understanding, have not finished the calculations yet, or they're finishing the calculations right now so that they can send us the updated worksheets that have what the new final benchmark rates will be effective January 1. So those are kind of the next steps that are going on. And the main takeaway for service providers is this is your deadline to worry about, is making sure that you are in the service provider directory, because what we are told is you just participating in the service provider directory is what gets you your 10% of the rate study implementation. So with that, a lot of information. Is there any questions from any of our service providers related to that, or anything in the chat related to it? I don't think so. All right. And additionally, from DDS's website, let's see, you guys can still see DDS's website, I'm hoping. I'm going to go over to the calendar real quickly because there are important things that are coming up. First, we don't talk a lot about electronic visit verification in this meeting. It's been a while since we have done that. However, if any of you have any questions or issues as it relates to EVV, they continue to offer office hours at the Department of Developmental Services. The Developmental Services Master Plan committees are continuing to meet. And so if you are interested, I believe you can sit in and watch these meetings if you would like to see how they are putting together the new master plan that is going to be the framework for our policies moving forward. And I believe they have to have the master plan completed by March of 2025, which sounds like it's far away, but it's really, really not. And so additionally, the department has their Regional Center Performance Measures work group coming up. And as you can see, there's just a number of options to participate in the different developmental services master plan committees too. All right, and for Alta California Regional Center, just wanted to touch on a few upcoming events that we have. So I will go to our calendar here, and you can see a backpack giveaway going on today, right after this, probably right out in front of our building. So we have a Adult Day and Employment Vendor Forum coming up on Tuesday, Michelle.
Yes, it'll be in person. Hopefully everyone's well rested after the 3-day weekend.
Excellent. Folks, I would love to say that we're going to have a copy of the DDS directives to be able to go over with you, but I don't believe so. This is going to be in person, right? This is going to be excellent.
Correct, in person.
We loved the SLS vendor forum in person. That was so much fun. And so this will be cool to be able to get our Adult Day and Employment vendors together in person as well. And additionally, you can see some community events that are coming up. You can see our upcoming board meetings. And then we've got some additional vendor forums that are happening too. So we have a residential vendor forum September 17th. We might have more information about the rate study by then, but residential is probably the one group that, because they have, the ARM rates, they're not as probably concerned about it as some of the other.
That is in person as well, John.
And that one's in person too. Oh, awesome. How good. It's been a long time since we've been all together, residential folks. I missed you guys last week. This is my opportunity to thank my staff that still do Coffee with Community Services when I am not around. I was down in Laguna Hills, California, speaking to the 6beds.org group, which is the largest RCFE, Residential Care Facility for the Elderly Group in the state. And I was talking with them about working with regional centers, and a few of them are vendored with regional centers, but a lot of them aren't. And there was about 250 people down there that are residential providers. And I will just say, having been a residential manager at our regional center as well, I certainly really appreciate the residential care providers, and I will look forward to being able to see you guys here in Sacramento on September 17th. Training for clients on supported decision making. We've got that coming up as well, and then you can see some additional community events on our calendar too. Let's see here. DDS, Altas. I will say, and just to kind of share something that I'm excited about, and it's been something that I've been working on for many years, and some of you service providers participated in supporting it, and so did some of our folks like Reva I see on the front page, and Kat on the front page, our staff that worked and supported our coordinated future planning initiative at the regional center. And so I am happy to share that our coordinated future planning initiative, it has been turned into a bill, AB 3291, developmental services. And on the 28th, it passed the Senate. And then some last little changes on the 29th went back to the Assembly. And it is, I believe, on the governor's desk for signature today. And then what this would do is this would take our coordinated future planning initiative that we have at our regional center. You can see the analysis. I'll drop it in the chat for folks if they're interested in taking a look at it. But in the analysis, they talk about our Alta California Regional Center pilot that we had for our coordinated future planning task force. And you can see the learning objectives from all the trainings that we did at Alta as well for the service coordinators. So this bill would require all the service coordinators in the state of California to develop a caregiver succession plan for their clients that are age 22 or older and living with their family. And so it's been a challenge getting it all the way through the process because it's also tied to the regional center paying for rental subsidies for regional center clients that are at risk of homelessness. Previously, the regional centers have been able to fund for risk of medical support needs, behavioral support needs, but this adds a risk of homelessness to it as well. And so we shall see what happens with the governor's office and whether or not it ends up moving forward, but it is very cool to see something that we were able to pilot at our regional center get listened to and heard about by the folks in the legislature, and then written and turned into a law that has a chance of getting signed by the governor. So we're very happy. And again, I shout out to those of you that participated in developing the trainings and delivering the trainings to all of our service coordinators, and we get to be part of a new law. So right on. All right, let's see here. We're going to put our CPP plan in on Tuesday, and we'll be letting folks know what the Department of Developmental Services has to say about that. We don't quite know when we'll hear back from DDS, but I do think that they're going to want to hopefully get the information out to us soon. And then for those of you who are keeping track, there is still not an announcement of who the next director of the Department of Developmental Services will be. If it's going to be any one of you, I hope that I've been nice to you over the years, and that you treat our regional center well in the future. But yeah, we do not have an announcement yet. We understand that Director Bargeman will be retiring next week, and we should be hearing something soon. So with that, though, I hope everyone has a fantastic holiday weekend. Enjoy some time with your families, and we'll look forward to talking to folks next week. Take care, folks.